Hello money queens, I'm Bacola and welcome to the Come Up. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that's near and dear to my heart and I love doing it all the time, and it's budgeting. I know a lot of people can see budgeting as something that's boring, depressing, just makes you feel really sad, but I see budgeting as a way of planning your money to help you reach your goals. Like, think about it, what goals are really near and dear to your heart? Are you thinking about maybe taking a really great vacation in the next couple months? Do you have a goal of like retiring when you're 30? Well, guess what? Budgeting can allow you to do that. Budgeting is just a way of planning your money out so that it helps you reach your goals. That's literally all it is. Planning your money out so it helps you reach your goals. So guys, let's get started. Also, please bring out your pen and paper or your spreadsheets. This is going to be very interactive. I also have a spreadsheet down below that you can use and also follow along with me. You can put in your real numbers and you can kind of, by the end of this video, you'll basically be able to budget and we'll be budgeting together. So let's get started. So before you even write anything down on the spreadsheet or pen and paper, the first thing you need to think about is, what are your goals? Like, what do you want your money to be doing for you? Do you have a goal of maybe retiring when you're 30? Do you have a goal of just maybe taking a really nice trip or buying a really expensive bag? Just take a second and just reflect and think about, what goals do you want to reach when you're making this budget? Budgeting is not going to be fun if you don't have a general direction about where you want your money to go. So just a little bit of context, this budget will be using the 50-30-20 principle and also the zero-based budget principle. So the 50-30-20 principle is a principle where you spend 50% of your money on things that you need. Remaining 30% use on things you want, and that's basically money that's free and clear for you to use on whatever you want to use for. And then 20% is money that you save. This is just a starting point and general framework about how to budget your money, but ultimately it's up to you to decide what specific proportions you want to dedicate your money to. Then finally, the zero-based budget is just basically giving every single dollar an assignment. No dollar will be left behind with this system. Every dollar has a job, every dollar will be assigned, and no dollar is going to get away from you. Every dollar is going to be planned out. That's what the zero-based budget is. So with these two different frameworks, we can kind of create a budget. So guys, I hopped right back behind my desk to show you guys how to budget. Let's go to the spreadsheet. As you can see, we have income and then we have our savings. Our goal is to get to about 20% in savings, but remember, the 50-30-20 rule is just a guideline. It matters more about how you feel about your budget than making everything fit perfectly into these boxes. So our goal is to get to around 20% in savings. We have about 50% fixed expenses and about 30% flexible expenses. The first step is to figure out what your after-tax income is. You have to be extremely precise because remember what we said, every dollar matters. No dollar will be left behind with this strategy. So we have to make sure that every dollar is given a job. Okay, if you're someone who's a new grad and you haven't necessarily started your job, but you've gotten an offer letter, you can use this very handy calculator called Smart Asset. Smart Asset allows you to you plug in your salary and then it'll let you know what your take home is. So with our take home, I deducted just a very small amount for the 401k. This kind of leads to the first step in budgeting. The third step in budgeting, which is you need to pay yourself first. Saving is extremely important and you want to make sure that you're prioritizing your long-term savings goals. As a good starting point, you need to kind of figure out how much you want to put towards retirement. I know a lot of people are a little hesitant about putting money into their 401k, but sometimes it's really good to invest in your 401k. There are a couple reasons why, but I won't mention them right now, but I'll link an article down below showing you why you should invest in your 401k. So we're going to say that we're going to give about $100 towards our 401k, and we're assuming that we have a $50k pre-tax salary. In New York City, after taxes, that doesn't leave you with too much. After taxes, this will be what it is. We're going to assume that we don't have any side jobs, but if you have any side jobs, this is where you want to put that money. So next step is to look at your savings. Notice that we put our $100 pre-tax, but to make this calculation work a little bit smoother, I did not add the 401k to our total savings. So when you're saving money, you want to make sure that you already have a fully funded emergency fund. If you don't have a fully funded emergency fund, this is something that you definitely want to work on immediately. So for your emergency fund, you want to have between 3 to 6 months of your expenses. Right now, we're going to try to just get to the 20%, and we're going to say that we're going to put about $600 every single month or we could just say $500 every single month towards our emergency fund. And if you have any long-term saving goals, like let's say you want to buy a house, we can just say that we'll put about like $100 towards this too. Great. So now the next step is to work with your fixed expenses. As you look through the spreadsheet, the fixed expenses are things that are basically your bills every month. These are items that don't really change. Every single month you kind of owe this, and this is probably the most pressing obligation that you have is to pay your bills. So these are the fixed expenses. This money kind of like automatically leaves your account every month. You have to pay it. And in our budget column, you can see that we're putting rent in here, utilities, transportation, your student loans, cell phone bills, and the remaining in here. So let's go ahead and plug that in. I'm going to use real numbers in New York City. So when I was making about this amount of money when I first started my first job in New York City, my rent was close to $1,000. So utilities, we can say $70. Transportation, we can say that's about $127. Student loans, we can put that about $200. Your cell phone bill, we can say is about $70. Apple Music is about $4.99. Netflix and Hulu, I actually don't pay for either of these services, so I don't know how much they cost. So I'm going to say that they cost about $20. If you have any credit card debt, this is something that you really want to work on paying off. So instead of making this long-term saving goals for the house, you can say that we want it to go towards our debt. But right now, for the time being, we just want to contribute the minimum. So we can say to about $25. As you can see, once we've covered our fixed expenses and we've paid ourselves first, now we have about $800 left over to do whatever we want to do. So that's a lot of fun. You have $800 every single month to play with. You want to put all of these numbers in your flexible expenses category, which should be about 30% of your budget. So for your flexible expenses, these kind of change, they're not really fixed, and you have a lot of control over this part of your budget. So let's say if you're in New York City, laundry costs about $10 a month for me. Groceries, you can spend about $250 for like a single person if you're cooking for yourself every single day. Your gym, let's say it's about $50. And now we have about $537.01 left over. That means we have about $500 every single month that we can allocate to whatever we want to allocate to. So we know that one of our big goals is to get to Paris in 9 months, right? We want to be able to have $2,000 saved up so we can go to Paris. What we need to do is that we need to do a little bit of math to figure out how much we need to set aside every single month to reach this goal. So that number, I did a little bit of calculations ahead of time. That number is about $223. So I can say this is for Paris. Okay, great. So now let's look again at the leftover category. We have $314 every single month that we can decide what we want to do with. If you want to add some money to donations, we can make that the $14.01. I mean, everyone donates whatever amount they want to donate. This is a category that kind of you need to align with your beliefs and your goals. Another thing is let's go ahead and add the remaining stuff, which is fun with friends and then your self-care. We have that $300 left over. Let's say we give about $100 to fun with friends and about $200 every single month for self-care. So now we've kind of figured out our entire budget. We have nothing left over, so we've given every single dollar a job. Some of the dollars we save up, some of the dollars we use to cover our fixed expenses, and the remaining dollars we get to decide what we want to do. The sixth step is to decide if this budget is helping you get to your goals. You want your budget to fit your goals. You want your budget to be something that makes you happy and is kind of satisfying you in all aspects of your financial life. So if you're looking at certain numbers here and you're very unhappy with the number, let's say your credit card debt is causing you a lot of anxiety, so you want to put money towards that, then you can kind of bump up your savings to fit that goal. Let's say you believe that $200 is not enough for your self-care, like if you have like hair that you want to get done, your nails you want to get done, and beauty expenses, you don't think it's enough money, then what you want to do is you want to take the money out of another category and put it towards this category. Personally, I usually try to reduce my groceries budget because for me, sometimes putting money towards other things brings me more happiness. So you kind of want to make sure that your budget is aligning with your goal. And if you're anything like me, whenever I see my budget, I'm always like, wow, I just need to make more money. So maybe you might look at your budget and ultimately decide to find a way to increase your income so you can put more money towards your different goals. Another thing to make sure when you're looking at your budget is, are you living below your means? If this leftover number is negative, or at least in Google Docs, it will just be a bracket around it. So like, let's say if we increase this by $50, you're living above your means. This is something that you don't want to do. Your budget, the number one goal of your budget is to allow you to live below your means and allow you to plan your money so that it works for you. So if you're living above your means, you have to figure out what can you cut to allow yourself to live below your means, or how much money can you make extra to fit this budget, to fit the means that you have currently, or the living standards that you have currently. Now, the seventh step, and something I find really fun, is to eventually just track your money every single month. So what you want to do is every single month, you want to look at what you say you wanted to spend to what you actually spent. And you have a lot of different software that can help you do this. There's like Personal Capital, there's Mint, there's YNAB. I actually use YNAB, that's my favorite one. And I also use Personal Capital, but YNAB is definitely my favorite one. And you can kind of look to see, are you overspending in any of this category? Are you sticking to your plan that you said you wanted to do? Yeah, so that's just like the final step of how to create a budget, is to just go back every single month and make sure that you're on track with your plan. And before you know it, budgeting will be so much fun and you'll be having a great time doing this because your money will have a plan and you'll be excited to be reaching all of your goals because you created a plan for your money. Thank you guys so much for sticking through this part of the video. If this was something you enjoyed, please make sure to give this a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.